you, friends. Welcome to this week's Mystic Moment. And I was reminded by one of our members that we are amidst the feast of Navaratri. Now, Navaratri is the feast of the many faces and names of the goddess Durga. And Durga, it's very complex, but is generally seen as the supreme goddess energy from which all other goddess energy comes from. Not in every iteration, but in a majority of them. And Navaratri actually takes place 4 times a year. It marks the seasons, the seasonal change. But this one that's taking place right now in the fall, this one is considered the most popular one. Largely because in some of the areas of India, they've made it through the monsoon season. So it's a very natural celebration to have in gratitude and in beseeching to Durga. I love Durga as a deity. And Durga has, just like all the other Hindu deities, has an incredibly powerful devotion cult. I use the word cult not in a bad way, but in just kind of a collection of devoted energy. Durga, in some of the understandings, is considered to be the threefold goddess of this experience of creation, of Maya, illusion, of Prakriti, which is natural form, that's the creative form, and of Shakti, which is considered power or energy. And isn't that fascinating to reflect upon? Now again, I'm not trying to be a master of Durga. I only relate to her as I love doing chants, and I'm a novice in my knowing of her, but I have experienced that energy very directly so often. But look at this, the universe itself has a way that these 3 things she's supreme goddess of are actually what in a way makes up the universe. Because you've got power and energy, which is the expressive side of consciousness itself. Oftentimes in Hinduism, Shiva and Shakti are one and the same energy or being or deities, and Shiva representing the illumined consciousness, Shakti being that consciousness in the form of energy and power. Now, we make distinctions, and sometimes we look at them as masculine and feminine and all the rest, but they're meant to be seen as aspects of the same thing, quite mysteriously. And then you've got Prakriti, which is all of the natural form. That's you, that's me, that's this world, that's everything that is coming into form. And then we've got the aspects that is unseen around that, the ignorance that we call Maya or illusion, that she's actually the deity of that as well. Now, if you were to sit and take those 3, where would your thoughts go? Because she is seen as a warrior and very powerful, and sometimes riding on a tiger, and at other times in other forms, what's oftentimes focused upon with Durga is the illusion part, the destroyer of illusions. And that's very appropriate. But if we only focus there, we miss the fact that she is also the creator energy, the birthing energy, the sustaining energy. And she's the energy of all the contrast, all the diversity of natural form. And that she represents in her very being the union and the harmony of all the diversity. Are you at home with all the different natural forms and illusions that are out there? Or do you have preferences? Are you comfortable with some and uncomfortable with others? Within yourself and in our world. She represents in her very being the place wherein all this is happening. So in honor of Durga, in honor of Durga, I invite you to enjoy the chant that I'm going to do back in the quiet of the inside. But it was so beautiful out, I thought, and here out in nature, I thought it was appropriate to do the lead in reflection. And if you can give yourself a little time, sit down with a piece of paper and reflect on what is Durga to you in relation to illusion. What is Durga to you in relation to natural form? What is Durga to you in relation to power or energy? And how can you come into a deeper grasp of how indistinguishable these elements are within Durga? They can be seen as separate, but ultimately they are of one. See where you can go down the rabbit hole with that one, with being honest with yourself. All right.